Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kusum Dixit. Welcome you all on behalf of CIA-GLOCAL Venture LLP. We are a global management consulting and financial infra advisory. Let's continue our discussion on COVID-19, a challenge to survive. Being fittest and agile is the key. Here we are covering infrastructure management challenges and risks post-COVID-19.
We are probably for the first time, we are on the similar platform of the problems, but then maybe we have to find a common area of solution going on, on a discussion point, and also in the industry further in different forums coming together. The time of growth, which was talked about a lot earlier, already had seen a wave of recession across Europe, part of Latin America, part of India. And then India, we were grappling with NPA issues when the non-performing assets issues. So, after that, suddenly this COVID has come, like people say, icing on the cake. This has come something like a setback on whatever recovery was already done by, various countries and businesses. And it is one of the very hostile pandemic, which has brought the sweeping changes across. But then one of the positive aspect is the change in approach of various organizations and leaders. Every bad thing has a positive, and I think we have to focus on those positives because negatives are talked a lot. But then this time, COVID struck somewhere around February when supply chain was impacted initially, and then mid-March the lockdowns, before it came in action, we already had the closures in terms of various trains and logistic businesses and all. So mid-March onwards, it was literally like going down from 100 to 0. And then April, May, and even June, although some of the works have started, but then if you see on industry scale, maybe overall 100, maybe it's today 10 or 15%. And I'm sure it may not be very different on various sensitive areas. Green areas may be okay, possible. Another thing what has happened is revenue when it is not there, but then you need to be cash rich. You see any opinion, people say that you have to recover, then you have to have cash in hand. Now, the people who have deep pockets or who have planned better may be having the cash in hand, but then people who really, typically sustain on marginal revenue and profits and then have larger overheads will find sustainability of organization itself is an issue. Employee sentiments today probably has started going down across industries. Some of the organizations are supportive. Some of them are somehow managing the balance. Some of them are outright, over practical and taking actions in order to safeguard their own interest. But then we cannot blame any one of conditions here. Then how the changes will come? Earlier we were always talking about how we get new projects, how we get more diversified, how we get today. I think at least my mind says the time has come. Maybe we need to enhance our capability in order to execute the project, in order to get our backlog on the balance sheets as far as possible cleared to at least 50 to 60%. So that is, then revenue generation is better, faster. We are focused and our banking limits are not stretched to go for more, you can say, bank guarantee limits or other extensions, what we need from the banks constantly. So we need to keep our future a bit secure by first consuming what we have. And competition, I think globally is same. When we have seen competition, it is, when it need be, people go at any pricing levels. You need to be first focusing inside the house, try and focus on very selective business, whichever line of business we are in, and try and get something where at least we can see the bottom lines better. Top lines probably for next 3 years won't matter that much, but then bottom lines, the profits or minimizing the losses definitely would matter a lot. And when this comes a situation that when you have to minimize your losses or somehow get into profit zone, that means to say you start looking inward and go to your management organization.
So we need to also develop our capacity or capability to be able to work from home. Today itself, we should decide what are the functions that we can do and allow people to do from home, so that we are able to do everything in that.
Correct. Sir, like you explained about the
So,
industry,
so
the challenges, I have one question here further for you. You know, in terms of infrastructure industry, we are very competitive. We talked about it, even Ashwin talked about it earlier in brief. Do you feel that organizational mindsets will change towards competition, and what is really healthy competition?
yes, a competition, I don't know whether it will change, and I think we should discuss it in a differently. But as far as the organizational changes are concerned, and this is
Yeah.
what I was saying when I said you should treat everybody equal, which we are not doing. And you see, we have been having a system of command and control. I want to be the boss. I'm in command. I am in control. I just don't want to do anything except give orders. Now,
Right.
that sort of a situation has to go. We have to be more participative. We are also to see that we also do some delegation, because we have not been passing on powers to the lower people. Unless you empower them, you cannot get best out of them. Then,
Correct.
there is another thing which we have also to see, that we need to also give our best. I'm talking of the management side, to be able to get best out of your staff. Because unless it is both sides, the things will not, it is an imbalance that will not last for a long time. And we therefore need to do in a way that we treat them well. In fact, I just want to mention, maybe people have already mentioned when I was not in the thing, that the way we treated our manpower, I'm talking of construction company, not just put them on the streets, literally, and they
Correct.
were having nowhere to go. They didn't have their salary, they didn't have a job, they didn't know how to go home. And many of people were forced to walk. Now, this sort of a thing is going to be a blot, and we need to remove that blot as early as possible by going an extra mile to be able to see that they are looked after, that we look after them as a family member. The management should become like the father of the family, or the big man of the family, and he should also, other than other things being there, give them a sense that he will protect us. Yes, today we don't have that. We did not protect them at all. We allowed them to do on their own or whatever is there. So this protection, so that change will also have to come in the management. Otherwise, it is going to be very, very difficult. And of course, we'll have to also take the help of management, these HR people, who will be able to find ways to see that the people are in a position to give their best. Because this is one of the greatest damage which has happened to us in the COVID portion. The logistic chain has really also got disrupted. This has to be brought back, whosoever is in charge of that, very fast. Although it is started already moving, but still it is very, very important.
Yeah.
And
The gaps
the
are there.
products, then the production, or even I'm talking of engineering materials. Although the factories were running, but they were not running to the full capacity. There was no demand also, of course. But as we go along, we will also be having some demands and the need for the material. So that has to also come up with that. I think we should focus on bringing the productivity to some level, a survival level at least. You see, we talked about the cash flow. Cash flow will not come unless you work. And asking for the government is a long-term process. It may come, it may not come. And even if it comes, it will not come in the way that you are asking. One of the things which I was saying, if you are asking for cash flow, I think one of the things which you were mentioning, well, whether it is possible and government can be persuaded to give some sort of a mobilization advance to all the ongoing projects. Because certainly it is like a mobilization that we are doing, a remobilization, whatever you are doing. The amount can be worked out, but it should be a little easy on interest, or if possible without interest, so that people are able to use this capital. Now, this can be given either directly by the government, or they can persuade the banks to do that. They have to decide. But without that, it will be very difficult for people most of them. I'm not saying all, maybe a few exceptions are there, but overall it will be very, very difficult. So we need to also look into that sort of a thing. And one more thing which we need to also see as a management is to see that the medical facilities are a little better than what we have been doing today. Today, I don't think we are doing anything very important, but I think this time has come that we should be able to in a position to do that.
Correct.
See that coming to the industry, as I mentioned, in fact, all industries were impacted. COVID has no you see selection. It
Distinguished.
went on
Yeah.
for all, and of course, infrastructure was the worst because it is also disorganized, and then it had the legacy of bad working in the last 3-4 years. So we need to also work on that. We have got to see that how to maintain. I only talked about the manpower being really looked after, but we have also to devise ways of how to retain our manpower. It's going to be very severe problem very soon. And here again, we need the help of all our HR experts to find out ways and means to be able to do monitoring of our progress. In fact, I should start our failure. One of the most uh, difficult things that we find is that we don't improve our planning. Our planning is very sketchy. In fact, the planning in other countries, what I have noticed is very, very detailed. They spend a lot of time and then be able to, which also makes them anticipate problem and be prepared for us. We seem to see, okay, we'll see when it comes to it. And that's not the thing which is going to be possible. So that is the planning. Then monitoring, of course, has to be more detailed, not a sketchy one. And cash flow monitoring is going to be the paramount. And in fact, as I just mentioned in passing, we must get used to even checking our cash almost every hour, because every hour is going to be very, very important.
For me, in resume, there are two key points at this moment for the companies in our sector. Okay, the cash flow, of course, and we will talk after about the different points of view that we have in terms of cash flow in Europe or America and Middle East, basically, and also communication of the leaders of the companies, because I think it's very important in this moment that for our people that are working for us in our companies to have the best communication and the best information about the situation of the company and in the market. Okay, all infrastructures in general have a social function, but when we talk about social infrastructures, we refer specifically to those related to public health, the environment, water, education. The outbreak of the pandemic has shown with strong evidence the need to increase investments in health infrastructures, in the improvement of natural resource management and environmental sustainability. At the same time, our society must answer to the challenge of demographic changes due from the aging of the population. In relation to our country, Spain suffers a significant investment deficit in social infrastructures if we compare ourselves with the largest European economies like Germany, France, Italy, United Kingdom. According to data from Association of Construction Companies and Infrastructure Concessionaires, to overcome this deficit will require investing in the next 10 years at least 103,000 million euros in various priority areas for the improvement of mobility, citizen welfare, and sustainable development. Spain invests just 8.5% of its GDP in all healthcare spending, 1 point less than the European average, ranking 15th in the Europe. It is urgent to reinforce our health system, capacity of intensive care services, equipment, ventilators, to face pandemics like the one we are suffering from. Our country presents a deficit of hospital beds 25% lower than the average of the reference countries. In environmental infrastructures, we are far below advanced waste treatment system with only 39 in urban waste and 89% in industrial waste compared to the respective 65, 66 and 96 on average in the aforementioned countries. A third of the Spanish population. The time has come to make up for lost time and face the consequences of the policies of cuts in social spending that have so damaged the most fragile layers of our society. Okay, maintain the cash flow. It is very important for all the companies to have the best leaders on the top because they must communicate to all people. Everybody is waiting for news because every week, remember in the last 3 months, news were moving every week from here to there, and people need good news. Okay, but the good news will come if we, the mankind, find a vaccine. Okay, and finally forget this area. Okay.
Now coming to what is the reason behind, and what is the reason behind this growth, and what is the reason behind we becoming so confident about achieving induced COVID times when there is a lot of challenges here and there. If we see the speech of Khattar Saab speech, if we go to it, how your management, how you manage your people, how connected you are to your guys. That is the key that I have learned in all these 20 years or till my career till date. And they are the guys, the youngsters, how you motivate them, how you train them, how you reskill them. Just particular now coming with COVID, how you reskill your guys, what Mr. Ashwin was saying about reskilling, risk, and even how you reduce the fixed cost. If you are hands-on the day when you started the company, when you had a very limited resources in your pocket, and if your mindset is like that still, with a future vision, you will not fail in your life. That is my understanding to it. The government will be the largest, what do you call it? The wheels would be turned around by the government projects only. They will be the largest guys who will be pumping the money in the economy.
System.
The
Yeah,
government,
you're right.
the guys who are sitting on the decisive places in governments, they have to honor the contracts. They have to understand the contracts. Today, we are put up in a situation wherein suddenly there is because of certain political or certain reasons, any project has to be taken up, and the consultant is forced to deliver that particular project in 4 months' time. Practically, that planning stage has, if it is required 12 months, it has to be 12 months. You cannot do it, cut short, and that will be a shoddy work, and which will result further during execution. You don't have the land. You will be facing with deficient designs, deficient whole of the what do you call it, the elevation. Number of things you would all have encountered. Coming to, we have to become lean, yes, as consulting organization also, as contracting organization also. We have to be now tech savvy. Worldwide, our in particular in the infrastructure sector, still there is lot missing in our alignment with the IT. How do we go tackle our problem through artificial intelligence or IT backbone? How do we do it? We are still not very receptive to it, and we are trying at our organization. We have taken a vote within next 12 months. We will be having we will be a IT organization, purely a infra organization, infra consulting organization with a IT backbone. And coming to the other, which Mr. Alok also said, the consultants need to be slightly get out of the slumber of being bookish. Yes, I agree. It is that was a very right comment. We also discuss between ourselves. Either you get out and become positive, or you perish. This is the situation that it is going to be. If you align both the parties as the contractor and the consultant, if they align for the project, and then we jointly meet with the client and talk to them. This is, yes, what we think is right. We should go about it. It is going to do wonders for the industry.
Now we have to talk how we can overcome this and how we can start looking at unlocking. Now, first we have to start is, although the government has given permission for only 10% people to start the office, but we have to see how with this relaxation, how we can work to 100%. You know, in few years back, if you say work from home culture in India, and especially in construction industry, it was like no-brainer. It cannot be done. It was not possible. But now COVID has taught us how to do work from home. I tell you, particularly many industries or the people whom I know from the industry, all their head office functions like planning, estimation, tender preparation, accounts, finance, taxation is all done work from home. Only the thing that is happening at site is the actual execution. So I can say 50% of the work from the construction sector is now being done from work from home, which you could never imagine 3 months back. So this one new thing that we have learned. And going forward, I'm sure that this is going to be the way it's going to work. Another thing, what COVID has taught us is cleanliness and hygiene. Now at a work site, you could be very, very strict enforcing the safety and hygiene aspects. But people, the workers, were never impressed by this our forced culture of safety and hygiene. But now it has been a habit. Now you can see the workers are so keen on hygiene levels, learn how to reduce their fixed cost. And that can be done only by outsourcing. If all your activities, major activities, you can outsource, and it is done on the work done basis, then I think what we can do is we can reduce the fixed cost. And that way we can deal with it. And going forward, this is going to be the model.
But COVID has actually put everything aside, and it is forcing us to really look at the organizations from the people-centric point of view. So it is that kind of a moment in terms of creating a provision for documenting the growth of the person in the entire value chain, no matter who he or she is or where one is in which part of the geography. Okay, so that's how that I look at it from the engagement or employee or a people engagement point of view, not just sheer recognition or giving some awards or anything like that. That this particular industry is heavily dependent on human capital for its success, or not just success. Success, of course, there has been there, but a sustained success, no matter whether there is a COVID or a no COVID kind of a situation. Okay, and because what is really needed is to build a culture that is very human centric, whether one uses a design thinking approach or an empathy map or any other technique, to be innovatively finding solution to make it more human centric, that recognizes people and helps in upskilling, wellness, and the mindset change that is needed. So what is really needed is driven by the change in mindset that recognizes its employees and helps them in upskilling and nurturing the innovation to fortify people culture. And it is very important for companies to actually ensure overall wellness of the people or the entire partners in progress in the entire value chain.
One last word from everyone, as this is the culture of our webinars. We are seeking a positive future. And as we are focusing, COVID-19 is a challenge to survive, and being fittest is the key. So please give one-liner so that we can take away one positive outcomes from. We can start
Hello.
with Mr. Rajkumar. Or Mr. Khattar, you can please start. I'm not able to see you.
Okay, no problem. I just want to say we should not get afraid. This is a problem big enough, but let's make this crisis as an opportunity, improve ourselves to be able to face such eventuality even in future. So we don't have to get depressed about it.
Yes, sir.
Let's use it as an opportunity. If you ask me personally, I look at it as a big opportunity coming up, which the situation has given me. Maybe we can see years down the line that we will prove it. And anybody who comes with a strong mental strength, we in our organization, I'll take 2 minutes of yours. We are in the organization, as Rakshita was saying very rightly, how you connect with your people, not only the physical level, at the mental level, and the fitness about it. We have been during the whole lockdown period, we are every day at evening at 6 o'clock, we were having online classes for yoga. One of our yoga friends, he was uh, continuously aligned to it. And the mornings we had for the physical fitness time. Our fitness fellow, he used to do it online. So that is the thing that you need to connect with your people. Rakshita said very correct about it. The mental fitness, and Mr. Alok also dwelled upon that, and the physical fitness about it. And the people's connect. People's connect, it is all either into consulting or the construction side. It is all about people. Let's make them happy. We will be happy.
It's not only mental strength, it is becoming the happiness. If you are happy and contented within yourself and what you're doing and what you want to do with your people, then it automatically strengthens the mind of the people and the ambience around you. And that gives you the mental strength to fight with any opportunity, any challenge.
It is time to change, especially for this sector. This is now and not in future. So people-centric is the key, and innovation and AI will come from people.
Yeah.
So what I say is that industry grows with innovation, and that comes from people, and it is time for industry to change. The change is now, and the time is here and now.
I think everyone has already summed up very well, and I must first of all thank everyone to bring out the best. For me, the summary would be very simple. That management always is, when you open your book any day, it's new. Challenges are always changing there. They will always come up in thick and thin the way time is. But then your preparedness is very important. And I always mention in all my webinars that even RBI had a business continuity plan. But construction companies, infrastructure companies, we never ever thought about a business continuity plan. What happens after me? What happens after pandemics? What happens after big accidents? We are never having those contingency plans. So we have to move out of showcase plan versus real plan. That is what is my message to you all. I thank Mr. Khattar for his keynote. I thank Carlos to join in from Spain. I'm sorry there were some network issues, but I also promise you that next time we will receive you in Mumbai, whenever you come, and we will come to Madrid to meet you again. Ashwin, thanks a lot for your insights. Very, very balanced and suggestions you have given. And Rajkumar, you were very positive and optimistic. Yeah. And Rakshita, I think you will give me another idea that next webinar could be purely audio webinar, because you and Mr. Khattar both were not visible, but then you brought in your points very well. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to everyone. And we sign off with a positive note. Thank you very much.